Right, welcome everyone to the next IMP UHC. This is Love at First Sight. Big cheer, yeah. Premise of this game mode is the first person you see is your teammate. So we'll all be spread as we are. There will be no like enforced teams. Generally, it would be the first person you see with team. If you maybe didn't quite see them, wanted to go the other way, that is up to you. To be clear. Whispers aren't allowed to try and meet up with your best buddy. The twist we've added into this is, for the first hour, it's normal map size, 2000 by 2000. After that, the world border will shrink. It's going to shrink over 2 episodes. From 2000 down to 400 by 400. So that is 1 block every 3 seconds. It is fast. You will get a warning
really quick
when the world border is within 3 minutes of your position. Your screen will slightly start to glow red, and when you are within 30 blocks of it, your screen should go bright red. So yeah, you don't want to mess with the world border.
Is that insta-kill?
No, I've slightly turned it down. It's still incredibly fast. Like within 10 seconds, but it's not instant. Regular UHC, no T2 potions. Nether is turned on this time. Use the Nether at your own risk with the world border. As it is Spigot after all. I don't know how. There is no world border in the Nether, but Spigot. Yeah.
Just Spigot.
Yeah, it's more coming back through the Nether might be interesting if the world border is shrinking. Horses are allowed, notch apples are allowed.
Sure.
I think. Anyone else think of anything else?
No strength.
Yeah, no strength. Yeah, Nether regens off. I've done that like 4 times. not paranoid whatsoever. And I think that's it. So we're gonna get everyone spread up.
Alright.
Let's go.
Spread up, everyone. Spread them.
Good luck.
Not you.
Can't wait to see my lover.
Welcome back to another season of IMP UHC. This time we are playing Love at First Sight, which means that all players are on their own solo teams to begin with, and the first person that each one meets will become their partner, as long as that person has not been partnered before, because should you lose your partner, your team remains. Together you are strong, but alone you are weak. There is no benefits whatsoever to losing your partner. And we're starting out here with Piegon, who is fast making his way up to the trees to gather the first bit of wood. Now unfortunately he spawned beside a birch forest, while Jackarou here has been lucky enough to spawn himself into a swamp, one of the best places to start out because of the apple drops that you get from the swamp trees, which has the same leaves as the oaks and thereby drops apples, but has more of them than usual. Jackarou here is making his first set of wooden tools so that he can go and gather himself a little bit of stone. Might be quicker to have dug down, but there is exposed stone over here, so Jackarou will be on the way very soon. Hopping over to Jambrew, the same is the case. We have Jambrew already starting to cut down the trees. Now he has spawned in a savanna, so he has no access to apples right from the get-go either, other than the few sporadic trees that spawn in this area. We mostly have the acacia trees, but he should be able to at least get himself situated, and we can see that he has managed to get himself the stone tools that he needs to get going. So let's see if he decides to continue, see if he can find some other people, since he didn't really have the spawn to gather the apples right from the beginning. Hopping over to J Toughlove here. we see that he is not alone because JT has met up with Raven. They have formed the Team Green. The first team to be formed in this UHC is already puts them a little bit ahead because, as quick as it might be to work alone, working together might just be quicker if you're good at distributing the workload. As we can see here, Raven has already started gathering food while JT is managing the upgrading. So, the guys should be on their way very soon. Hopping over to Yoruta here, we see the Viking in the process of murdering the helpless animals. Such a meanie. You do have to get some food in UHC, otherwise you won't survive for long. Killing the horses to get himself some leather, but I don't think that Yoruta is quite aware that baby animals don't drop any loot. It's a waste of uses, and it is generally just mean. Don't murder the baby horses. Bad boy. Oh. And over on Gen Ninja's team, we have him a little bit of a more lucky situation because he has spawned himself inside a dark oak forest. Very good place to start because it has access to a lot of apples. One just have to be a little careful because it does have the chance of spawning monsters. Now over at Danny Boy's side, things are also progressing. Danny Boy is harvesting the trees in order to get himself some apples, while Dangers is making his way out through a birch forest. He might also be trying to find a place to gather some apples up before he heads down for the night, using that first day to get a foothold on the surface before you head down during the night to gather the resources that you need to continue the game. One would almost think with the sure step that he is using here that he has already seen this area before, but this is still the first time the dangers are coming through here, so it's quite impressive that he manages to find his way around so easily. Hopping over to Ernbob, we can see that Ernbob has already got himself a little bit of iron gear, some pants and a sword already. It might just be that he managed to find himself a village that he could loot. Something would at least suggest that, and this is near a desert, so he might just have been able to find a desert village. MT himself here is down in the caves already, doing a quick run to get the iron that he needs in order to start the game, while Mr. Cave is using the same strategy as most of the guys, namely gathering himself some apples. And here we have Jackarou and Pink Swiper, who has just met up and has formed the Team Purple, the second team in this UHC, and together they are now doing work on this forest, cutting down the trees in order to get those apples to spawn, while Deepak has had a little bit of a run-in with a skeleton. Having an arrow sticking out of his head here, he might just have been the first person to take damage unless someone has taken damage otherwise, but still, it's not much even this early in the game, although you do not want to meet too many monsters until you have gotten yourself situated with some proper armor. And what do we have here? Quite nice case for Deepak to go into while we hop over to Jackarou, who is standing in the field waiting for his food to cook properly while he is taking a look around to see if he can find himself a teammate to join up with. But no one so far. Mr. Pyro has also decided to head underground and is already down there gathering resources, currently gathering a little bit of coal. It does give the experience and it does provide the fuel that you need to cook the food and the iron that you find down there. Paul, on the other hand, here is making his way through the birch forest. There is quite an impressive amount of birch forest on this map, so it is a potential of not having too many apples available. It wouldn't surprise me if we see the guys struggling a little bit to get quite enough of them in order to get what they need for the fighting that is coming. Now hopping over to Piegon here, we can see the Piegon is very close to the barrier, not quite far off, but we can see that the barrier is blue at the moment, which means that the barrier has not yet started to move. We will not see the barrier move until the 3rd episode, but after that it is going to be very fast, so Piegon definitely needs to get out of the cave before the end of the 3rd episode or risk getting caught by the barrier. Something that you cannot quite escape unless you already have an exit made, because you cannot dig away from it. Even digging straight ahead will only delay the inevitable. You cannot dig up because that would actually increase the time that it would take to get to the surface and to safety by 50%, meaning that you will not have a long time to run on. And here we have Yuruta and Danny Boy, who has also managed to meet up. The 3rd team forming, Team Teal, and they have headed down underground. There is no reason to stay above ground at this point. It is turning night time and you need to get down underground where it is safer and get to mining those resources so you can get yourself armored up. Especially now that you've managed to get yourself a team, you are in a good situation there. Jackarou, on the other hand, is determined to find himself a companion running across the field at night. It can be very dangerous to do that, but it doesn't seem like there are too many monsters right around this area, so he is lucky. It might just be that he is luckier than expected and managed to find a friend out tonight. We can certainly hope for him. Let's cross our fingers for Jackarou to see if he can find himself a teammate. Dodging the monsters, Jackarou makes quick way over the landscape to see if he can see some names, something to suggest a location of a player that he might be able to join. Hopping over to JT and Raven again, we see JT down here underground. Found himself a little bit of a pool, and there is certainly a little bit of resources in here, some iron in the wall that JT quickly moves over to see if he can gather up. While he is doing that though, we will be hopping right over to Raven here to see what is going on. And here we have him. He is not far off, but getting himself situated with a staircase down to the bottom of the world, to see if he can also find some proper resources. And over here by Team Purple we can see Jambro here. He's already got himself an iron chest plate and is currently gathering more iron so that he can get fully armored. But a little bit of armor does wonders when you're running around the dark caves. You should really take the time to make a few torches, even though it is quicker and relatively safe to go in and mine quickly. It is definitely a wiser choice to light it up, because otherwise your way back will not be quite as safe. But it looks like this is the tactics for Team Purple. Both of them running around in the dark. It's bad for video, guys, and it is not safe for you. But at least with a little bit of fuel and something to cook, you can at least make a little bit of a light with a furnace. Here we have Pink cooking up potentially some iron. It wouldn't surprise me that we will see this team armored up very quickly, and Bob on the other hand is almost fully armored already. Then again, he is only himself, so he don't have to share the iron with anyone. He's just missing maybe his tools now, still running around with that stone pickaxe. But he has gotten himself the sword and the armor to start the game. Now he just needs to make his way further into the caves to find more iron. Potentially some diamonds. changing here over to the regular texture pack because we forgot about doing that to begin with in the start of the game. But for the rest of this UHC you will see the normal textures that you are used to in Minecraft. But we're hopping over here to Janinja, who is currently digging down underground. Still alone, but we will see if he managed to find a friend. Deepak, on the other hand, has also decided to head down to the bottom of the world, but unlike others, he has decided that will be a better idea for him to go straight down, digging a safe way down with a double pillar. So let's hop over while he is doing that to Team Teal to see what they are up to. It looks like they have managed to find a little bit of resources and are now starting to cook things up. So we will probably be seeing them armored up quite soon as well. The question is, have they gotten enough yet, or will they head down into the depths again to find more resources? Well, it wouldn't surprise me if they do, because it'd be quite early for them to have enough resources to last the entire game. But be careful guys, there is a little friend down here waiting for you. Might be stuck, but he can still damage you if you're not careful. Hopping over to Cheese here, we can see him down in the caves. Holes in the ground, not so safe moving around this area. But he has made himself down to the lava layer, so he is in business for potentially finding himself some diamonds. And while he is doing that, let's hop over to Jackarou, who's also down underground, and with that we will end off the episode right here with Key. And this is how the first episode comes to an end. A little bit of damage on a couple of people, but no deaths yet. Thank you for watching episode 1 of this UHC. See you in the next episode.